Hey, what's up, guys? This is David Chase Taylor at 11truther.org. Today is February 24th of 2026. So, based on breaking news and events, it appears the CIA headquarters, located in Lucerne at Lake Geneva in Switzerland, is about to unleash an unprecedented wave of terror upon the United States. Under the guise of revenge attacks in the aftermath of the February 22nd assassination of El Mencho, otherwise known as Inicio Osaguro Cervantes, a drug cartel leader that was assassinated in Jalisco, Mexico, by the Mexican Federal Police. What's imperative to know about this impending wave of terror that the CIA is going to unleash on the United States under the guise of this gang, which is called the El Cartel Jalisco Nuevo Generacion, or OJNG, excuse me, is basically was birthed in the aftermath of a foiled terror plot, which was going to be the CIA was going to stage a wave of Hezbollah-related terror events across South America and Central America and Mexico on the date of February 22nd of 2026. This was going to be executed on the ground via Israeli Mossad, and it was subsequently foiled. And in the aftermath of this, all the people that were privy to this plot, and especially in respect to Mexico, were assassinated. The death toll is that 26 federal Mexican police officers were murdered. This is not an accident. These cartel members, no pun intended, these federal police were working with the cartel and were party to this terror plot in Mexico that was specifically designed to spawn a second global biological pandemic and trigger World War III, because they were going to be Iran-backed proxies in Mexico. So the CIA assassinated all of them, and then the cars that were supposed to have real car bombs were incinerated to get rid of the evidence, and that's what we have happened in Puerto Fuerte and various locations across Mexico, is that they basically got rid of the evidence. So this foiled attack is now the CIA, as a former chief of staff to President Obama, Rahm Emanuel, whose father is a convicted terrorist with the ear gun, a Zionist terrorist. He said, never let a crisis go to waste. So the CIA had to foil this attack. They had to kill everybody involved, and they had to get rid of the car bombs and everything, and they incinerated a bunch of vehicles. And so then they decided to create a new monster in Mexico, similar to the birth of ISIS in the aftermath of the Osama bin Laden assassination. This new group is basically going to be avenging the death of their dear leader, El Mencho, otherwise known as Nemesio Osaguro Cervantes, who was killed via gunshot in Jalisco, Mexico on February 22nd. This impending wave of terror is likely going to be feature. So they did the debut of this alleged gang, which I've never heard about. I've written about drug cartels for years. I've never heard about this drug cartel before, and now they're saying that it's the most powerful drug cartel in all of Mexico, which is bullshit. And so this event happened on the 22nd, and so 3 days later, I expect on the 25th, Wednesday, February 25th, 2026, for there to be a secondary act, because we have the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, so we'd have two events in 4 days, which place the letter X, which is the international symbol of death. And the CIA always does these events 2 and 4 days. That being said, this may come at a later date in the aftermath of this video, but given the February 1st kidnapping of Today television host Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie, in Arizona, back on February 1st. I suspect that the secondary act of the Cjng gang, Cjng, if you will, is a made-for-TV kidnapping of numerous celebrities: Taylor Swift, Tom Brady, Donald Trump, Donald Trump's children, Mike Tyson, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Conor McGregor, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, people of A-list status in Hollywood, in the sports world, in acting or what have you, music, etc. And then this is going to be like the Savannah Guthrie's mother being kidnapped. It will likely be blamed on this gang. So in other words, the CIA wants to execute scores of celebrity blood sacrifices, and so they will now have a convenient scapegoat next door in the Republic of Mexico, which they can frame. It's also expected that the CIA will stage a Cjng related attack targeting the capital of Mexico, because Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum allegedly ordered this hit on El Mencho, and therefore they must avenge this attack. And this attack will likely target the Senate building, Mexico City Airport, and or the San Lazaro building, which is essentially their capital building, the Mexican Parliament. And what's imperative to note is, although this may be a fentanyl bomb, the impending event is going to be CBRN in nature. That's chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear in nature. There's also the possibility that the CIA will stage an Cjng gang-related, cartel-related attack targeting border towns on the Arizona, New Mexico, California, or Texas borders, including but not limited to Los Angeles, San Diego, El Paso, Brownsville, Albuquerque, etc. What's imperative to note here in closing is that this unprecedented attack on February 22nd of 2026 came in the aftermath of the CIA installing the first ever Jewish president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum. And this is no accident, because what the CIA is desperately trying to do is to import the Gaza war, or a variation thereof, into the United States so that they can car bomb and drone strike Americans at will. And so this impending wave of terror that the CIA is going to be unleashed on the United States is going to be via the Israeli Mossad, the Israeli National Police, the Israeli Defense Forces, the Israeli Navy, and or the Israeli Air Force. Make no mistake about it. This is an attack on the United States, and it's an attack by Israel and her proxies, because Israel was culpable in the failed Hezbollah attack of February 22nd, and so they have gone to Plan B, which is to import terrorism into the United States under the guise of drug cartel-related attacks, terror events, political assassinations, likely resulting in the death of Donald J. Trump and or other celebrities. So when we look at the name Cjng, what we see is the letter O, which is 1-5, which symbolically equates to IS, or ISIS, which is the name of Switzerland, her CIA, which is also found in the front of the name ISIS, or Israel, which is a euphemism, an acrimonial euphemism for Isis, Ra, and El, Israel. So the first part, IS, is for ISIS. And so we see the O is 1-5, which equates to the letter I and the letter S. And then we have the Jng, which is gang, because the J doubles as a G in the English alphabet. So we have the IS gang. And so this is basically how they plan to import terrorism, is with a Jewish president in Mexico importing via her proxies, the Israeli Mossad, conducting executions, kidnappings, political assassinations, car bombings, mass shootings, targeting both Mexico and the United States, because Donald J. Trump is trying to wipe out the gangs, and suddenly we have this reemergence. He's trying to knock out the Mexican drug cartels, and suddenly, after blowing up a bunch of their ships, suddenly we have this unprecedented attack in Puerto Vallarta, Jalisco, and other locations in Mexico. That's not an accident. This is because they want to flex their muscle and they don't want Trump going in there. He wants them to make it appear too dangerous. And this is all being orchestrated via Switzerland, in Geneva, Switzerland, via the CIA, via the Israeli Mossad, which has infiltrated Mexico to the highest degree by replacing a Mexican, by placing a Jewish person of Jewish ethnicity into the position of president. So if they can control the presidency of Mexico, they can control every other position below that, including their national police, their federal police, and their politicians. So this is the beginning of an unprecedented war against the United States. It is basically going to be executed by Israel against the United States, her enemy, via a proxy state of Mexico, and that is going to be sanctioned and organized on behalf of her Jewish president, Claudia Sheinbaum. So this is the beginning, and what's the result is going to be a president that is dead of the United States that is going to be blamed on Mexican drug cartels. We're going to have numerous A-list celebrities being murdered, and it's going to be blamed on these drug cartels, which are in fact the Israeli Mossad. And then we're going to have chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear-related events targeting the United States or border towns with Mexico that are going to be blamed on this. And the end goal is to trigger World War III, because they'll likely say that these drug cartels are funded by Iran. That's the narrative that they're going to put out there. I guarantee it. I'm going to state it here on February 24, 2026. They're going to say that Iran is backing these drug cartels. And the other thing that this is going to result in is the spawning of a second global biological pandemic, when the CIA claims that these drug cartels kidnap scientists or biologists or other members of the military or academia, and then force them to weaponize some sort of a bio attack. So this is the end game of the Cjng gang, otherwise known as El Cartel Jalisco Nuevo Generacion, and this is the plan for this gang. It's basically a proxy war of Israel against the United States, Switzerland and Israel against the United States, being levied via Mexico, and under the guise of drug cartel related attacks. And this is just the beginning, and it's going to happen in the United States. And when it does, we know who's responsible, who organized it. We know that Switzerland organized it, that Israel is executing it, and they're going to blame it on Mexico and her drug cartel. So obviously, if this comes to fruition in reality, or when this comes to fruition in reality, I would kindly ask that you download this video and share it with local, state, and federal law enforcement, military, and intelligence officials, as well as with local, national, and international media outlets. Peace.